Hi everyone, hope you're good out there. I just thought I'd address a question I get asked quite a lot. I get it all the time on my WhatsApp and on my YouTube and stuff like that. Um, is what compressor pedal do I use? And in truth, most of the time I don't use a compressor pedal. I haven't got a compressor on my board. I take one around with me on sessions just in case I use it. I don't use a compressor really in my quad cortex settings. It's there sometimes, but it's not on most of the time. The reason is I like to get as much dynamic range out of my playing as I possibly can. So if I'm doing a picking part, like something like that, single note part, I want to hear when I hit the notes louder or softer. I want the notes to be have a variation in dynamic range. I have a compressor pedal here. I've got a little SP compressor here, an exotic compressor, which is pretty cool. It's set in mid compression at the moment. The blend is on full, and the volume is just so I can kind of match the volume between the uncompressed guitar sound and the compressed guitar sound. But as you probably know, I don't want to teach you to suck eggs, but what a compressor does is it takes quiet signals and makes them louder, and it can take loud signals and make them quieter. So it just basically is squashing your sound. So if I was to play that little part again, so this is it without the compressor. No compressor. Here's the compressor on. Herbie's just walked in the room. Compressor's on, the volume's gone up a bit. I mean, it does do a thing. Off. Little chordal thing there. On again. It's not that I don't like that sound with the compression. It's just that on gigs, unless I really want it for an effect to keep my playing consistent and the same level through everything, I'd rather have the compressor off so I can and that's probably because I brush the strings quite gently. As you can see, I'm using the pick just a tiny bit. So I want to hear things a little bit softer on the guitar sometimes. So now, if I play that again with the compressor on, it will sound a lot more thumpy to me. It's just got a bit more thump to it. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Sounds pretty cool, but my personal preference is I like to keep as much dynamic range as I can get, because then it allows me, when I'm playing a part like that, allows me to sit and dance around with the hi-hats or the percussion of a track. It means I'm not constantly the same level. I do sometimes compress after I've recorded something if it's not doing that enough, but as a rule on a gig I don't always have a compressor on. I think it's great to use both, but for me It's not always on. I've got a few compressors. I've got the SP. I've had loads of compressors over the years. I used to use the Boss, the old blue Boss compressor. I used to compress the snot out of everything back in the day. I use this SP compressor. I've got the Wampler compressor here, which is pretty awesome. But I'd rather use, unless I need it definitely for a gig, I don't tend to use a compressor. I always have one with me in case I need it, but I don't put it on just as a matter of course. Yeah, I prefer to get the dynamics out of my own playing if I can, unless I'm doing like a, I'm putting this on the high setting here. But if I'm doing like a sprangy sort of if I'm doing that kind of very 80s sounding sprangy chord thing, I call it sprang because it's, I always think of it as a sprang. Ready? Sprang. That's what I call a sprang chord. Usually it would have loads and loads of chorus on it. But yeah, in answer, so I just did this video because people have asked me quite a lot what compressor I use. I posted a little thing with my board on the other day, and people were going, well, where's your compressor? What compressor are you using? And I don't tend to have one on my board. I've got a couple of rack mount compressors here that I use for processing sometimes. I've got a DBX 160A, which is cool, super 80s, is what they used to use. Lukather and Landau and Dan Huff used to use all those 80s. Paul Jackson Jr., I think that's what he used as well. I'm not sure. And I've also got a rack mount 1176 compressor. And I do sometimes, after I've recorded something, compress using the 1176 inside Universal Audio because that's brilliant. Sometimes I'll use a distressor as well. But as a rule, I don't just put a compressor on everything. So I hope that answers a few questions for you. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And thanks for watching. Bye.